Good morning students, this is Latif sir. In this video today I will discuss about different types of physical changes and chemical changes. So first see physical changes. Example of different type of physical changes are given here. First type of physical change is evaporation. So what is evaporation? Evaporation is the process by which a substance changes from the liquid state to gaseous state. That is, evaporation means conversion of state from liquid state to gaseous state at any temperature below its boiling point. Okay, at any temperature below its boiling point. For example, evaporation of river water is a physical change, and it is also desirable, reversible and endothermic change. Evaporation of river water, it is a physical change, and it is also a desirable, reversible and endothermic change. Now see factors affecting rate of evaporation. Which factors can affect rate of evaporation? The factors are temperature, moisture, surface area and movement of air. How temperature can affect? The rate of evaporation increases with increase in temperature. If the temperature is high, then the rate of evaporation is also high. Okay, and that is why clothes dry faster in summer than in winter. This is because in summer the temperature of air is higher than in winter. Okay, second, moisture. How moisture or humidity affects rate of evaporation? First you have to know what is moisture or humidity. Moisture or humidity means amount of water vapor present in air is known as moisture, and if the amount of water vapor in air is high, then the rate of evaporation is slow. Okay, so the rate of evaporation decreases with an increase in moisture. Okay, and this is why clothes take longer to dry in humid weather than in dry weather, because in humid weather there are more amount of water vapor is present in air. Next, surface area. Larger the surface area above the liquid, the higher is the rate of evaporation. Okay, that's why, or therefore, clothes dry faster when spread out. And last factor is movement of air. The faster the air blows over the liquid, the higher is the rate of evaporation. Okay, the faster the movement, or the faster the air blows over the liquid, the higher is the rate of evaporation. Second type of physical change is boiling. What is boiling? It is a process by which a substance, when it is heated to its boiling point, it changes from its liquid state to its gaseous state. So boiling is also a change of state from liquid state to gaseous state, but when it is heated to its boiling point. Okay, so boiling is a process by which a substance, when heated to its boiling point, it changes from its liquid state to gaseous state. Example of boiling of water is a physical change, which is also a desirable or undesirable change, and reversible endothermic change. Okay, next type of physical change is condensation. Condensation means, in simple word, condensation means state change from gaseous state to liquid state. Okay, on cooling. So the process by which a substance changes from its gaseous state to its liquid state on cooling is known as condensation. For example, condensation of water vapor to form clouds, which is a physical change, and it is also desirable change, reversible change and exothermic change. Condensation is exothermic change, which is desirable, reversible and physical change. Okay, next type of physical change is freezing. In simple word, freezing means state change from liquid state to solid state. State change on cooling is known as freezing. Okay, so the process by which a substance changes from its liquid state to solid state on cooling is known as freezing. Example of freezing: freezing of water, which is a physical change. Freezing of water into ice. Water into ice is a physical change, which is also desirable change, reversible change, and exothermic change. Desirable change, reversible change, and exothermic change. Next type of physical change is melting. In simple word, melting means state change from solid to liquid. It is state change from solid to liquids. Okay, so the process by which a substance changes from its solid state to its liquid state, on heating is called melting. Example of melting: melting of ice cream. Melting of ice cream, which is a physical change, and it is undesirable change, reversible change, and endothermic change. And next type of physical change is sublimation. Sublimation means, in simple word, sublimation means state change from solid state to gaseous state directly. Solid state to gaseous state, state conversion is known as sublimation. Okay, so the process by which a substance changes from its solid state to its gaseous state directly, solid state to gaseous state directly, without forming the liquid state in between, is called sublimation. So sublimation is the process by which a substance changes from its solid state to its gaseous state directly without forming the liquid state. Example of sublimation: sublimation of naphthalene balls, which is a physical change. Okay, and it is also a desirable change, reversible change, and endothermic change. And the reverse of sublimation, that is conversion state, interconversion from gaseous state to solid state directly, is known as deposition. That is reverse of sublimation, which is known as deposition or desublimation. And deposition takes place on cooling. Sublimation takes place on heating, but deposition takes place on cooling. Okay. Now here one experiment is given: sublimation of ammonium chloride. Experiment is not required. Okay, so see, next type of physical change is dissolving. Dissolving, what is dissolving? It is the process of mixing of a solid, liquid, or gas uniformly with another substance to form a solution is called dissolving. Okay, so the process of mixing a solid, liquid, or gas uniformly with another substance to form a solution is called dissolving. For example, dissolving sugar in water is a physical change that is reversible, desirable, and endothermic change. Dissolving of sugar in water is a physical change which is reversible, desirable, and endothermic change. And when the solution of a solid in liquid, in a liquid is subjected to heat, evaporation takes place, and the solvent, that is liquid, escapes as vapor, and the solute, that is solid solute, is left behind as a residue. Okay, thus the solute can be separated from the solvent by the process of evaporation. If you heat a solution, solid in liquid solution, then you will see that the solvent, that is liquid component, will be evaporated, and the solute will be left behind as residue. Okay, now see chemical changes. Different types of chemical example of different types of chemical changes are given. Cooking is a chemical change. Cooking of food is a chemical change, that is desirable change, irreversible change, and endothermic change. Cooking of food is a reverse. Cooking of food is a chemical change which is desirable, irreversible, and endothermic change. So cooking is a chemical change. For example, to prepare bread, flour is to mix with yeast and water to make dough. And then the dough is then backed into bread, and the bread cannot be changed into cannot be changed back into its original ingredient. That's why this is irreversible change. Next type of chemical change is digestion. Digestion. What is digestion? The process in which food is broken the process in which food is broken down into simpler substance. Food is broken down into simpler substance that can be absorbed by the body is called digestion. The process in which food is broken down into simpler substances that can be absorbed by the body is called digestion. And digestion is a chemical change which is desirable change, irreversible change, and endothermic change. Next type of chemical change is combustion or burning. Combustion or burning, it is a chemical change. Combustion or burning means reaction with oxygen. Okay, so combustion or burning is a chemical change in which a substance combined with oxygen, releasing heat and light. Burning of candle, for example, burning of candle wax is a chemical change because the wax on burning changes into vapor and the other byproducts along with heat and light. So burning of a candle is a chemical change, and this burning of candle is a desirable change, irreversible change, and exothermic change. Next type of chemical change is respiration. What is respiration? Respiration, it is a process. Respiration, it is the process of breaking down food to release carbon dioxide, water, and energy. It is also the process of breaking down food to release carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Okay, the process of breaking down food to release carbon dioxide, water, and energy is called respiration, and respiration is a chemical change that is desirable, irreversible, and exothermic change. Now see curdling. Curdling is a chemical change. What is curdling? It is the process by which a liquid changes into soft semi-solid mass. Okay, in curdling, a liquid changes into soft semi-solid mass. For example, curdling of milk. Okay, curdling takes place in milk when lime juice or vinegar is added. When lime juice or vinegar is added to milk, the milk changes into curd, and this curd is a new substance with a new chemical composition. So it is a chemical change, and it cannot be changed back into milk, so it is a irreversible change. The curdling of milk to make cheese is a chemical change that is desirable, irreversible, and endothermic change. Okay, curdling of milk to make cheese is a chemical change that is desirable, irreversible, and endothermic change. And curdling of milk meant for drinking, curdling of milk uh, meant for drinking is an undesirable change. Okay, curdling of milk to make cheese is a desirable change, and curdling of milk for drinking is undesirable change, is an undesirable change. Okay, next type of chemical change is fermentation. 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 What is fermentation? fermentation is the process in which a substance decomposes by the action of microorganisms with the release of heat and carbon dioxide in the form of bubbles is called fermentation. Okay, fermentation is the process in which a substance decomposes by the action of microorganism with the release of heat and action of with the release of heat and carbon dioxide in the form of bubbles is called fermentation. Okay, so in fermentation a substance decomposed by the action of microorganisms like uh, virus, okay, with the release of, and you will get heat and carbon dioxide after fermentation in the form of bubbles. For example, fermentation of dough is a chemical change that is desirable, irreversible, and endothermic change. Fermentation of dough gives us bread. Fermentation of dough gives us bread that is soft. However, fermentation of a cooked uh, food item meant for eating is an undesirable change. Next type of chemical change is rusting. What is rusting? It is the process in which iron changes into iron oxide. Iron object changes into iron oxide. Okay, the iron oxide is known as reddish brown. Iron oxide is known as rust, and rusting is formed when iron is exposed to oxygen, exposed to air, okay, and in moisture. So the process in which iron changes into iron oxide when exposed to oxygen and moisture in the air is called rusting. And rusting is a chemical change, undesirable change, irreversible change, and exothermic change. Now see characteristic of a chemical change. Some characteristic of a chemical change are given. Characteristic of a chemical change. There are many characteristics are found in a chemical change, and the characteristics are change in color, change in color, shape, size, change in taste, evolution of gas, absorption or release of energy in terms of heat, light, or sound. Okay, so these are some characteristics of a chemical change. Change in color, change in taste, evolution of a gas, absorption or release of energy in the form of heat, light. And in some cases physical changes and chemical changes may occur. In some cases physical change and chemical change may occur simultaneously. For example, in the event of burning of candle, in the event of burning of candle, the wax undergoes both the changes, that is chemical change and physical change. Melting of wax is a physical change in which only the state of wax changes from solid to liquid. It is so melting of wax is a physical change, and it absorbs heat energy in the process. However, the burning of wax is a chemical change in which new substances such as carbon dioxide and water vapor are produced, giving out energy in the form of heat and light. So melting of wax during the burning of candle, the melting of wax is a physical change, and burning of wax is a chemical change in which new substances such as carbon dioxide, water vapor are produced. Okay, so thank you student. These are some physical change and chemical changes I have discussed today. You have to read about these changes. Okay, you have to remember the different types of changes, physical changes and chemical changes, and their characteristics, their definitions, okay, with examples. And this chapter is completed today. Thank you students.